chat up. Good morning and welcome to another episode of Just Jordan Things, where I actually had the time to do my hair and makeup this morning, and my light is washing me out, so I'm just going to turn this down a little bit. There we go. How is everyone doing today? I finally got a good night's sleep after a week and a half of not being able to get a good night's sleep. And boy, does it change a lot of things. Also, it's a lot easier to get up in the morning when you have a fear of like your dog peeing in the house. So, Daisy, thank you. Thank you for assisting me with getting up out of bed. I had to let her outside potty, and then we were up. We were doing it. Usually Grant does that in the morning, but today it was me. How is everyone? How is everyone's September starting? I can't believe it's already September. Very excited for spooky season. We're in the groove, and it is day 16 in our wellness journal, which I'm super proud of. One, of getting this far into the journal. We are about, I was going to say halfway. We're not. There's like 80 days. So we're on our way. We're making our way through this journal. But I'm proud of the progress we've made so far and where we're going. So let's talk about mindfulness again, because this is honestly my favorite section. Your purpose for mindfulness. Exploring mindfulness and thinking about your values can help guide you in leading a life full of purpose. Take a moment to write down 3 core values or personal qualities that are important to you. Values are not different from goals. Values are different from goals and are not achieved like goals. Values are deep-rooted and serve as a guide through your lifetime. Some examples of values might be friendship, personal development, or adventure. So think about your 3 core values right now. I'll think about mine. I don't think they have to be one word. I feel like I can, my relationships are a core value of mine. Being honest, honesty, trustworthiness, that's a core value of mine. Personal development, that is a good one. I like the continuous improvement method, like always being willing to look where else I can do better. Sure. Stay. I always want to work on trying new things, experiencing it. You know, no one's perfect. No one will ever be perfect. And that is the whole kind of challenge with mental health, is you're never going to overcome or get over what you're dealing with in your brain. I'm never going to get over ADHD or autism. You know, it's something I'm always going to have to live with. I'm always going to have to be aware of. And sometimes things slip through the cracks. Sometimes we're rude to people that we don't intend to be, or we're hungry and cranky, or, you know, like we say something we didn't quite mean. But there's always a way to, you know, get back on to where we want to be and resolve that conflict, or go back and change what we said. I recently just had something where I had to, in the moment, I said something and I agreed to something where I was like, oh yeah, that's no big deal, whatever, you know? I was irritated about it in the moment, but I was like, whatever, we're just gonna get through this in-person thing without any conflict. But then afterwards, not a couple days, I think a day later, I decided to text the person and tell them how that situation actually made me feel, and letting them know that, okay, that wasn't okay. I know I said and agreed to everything in the moment, but that really made me upset and I didn't like it. Hey, that's Dozer's food, not yours. And that's the kind of thing where in the moment I gave in to that initial reaction of like, I don't want to make someone else upset. I just, you know, people please, go along with it. And then I really stood up for myself a day later. And that's kind of one of my core values, of always being able to stand up and do the right thing, even if it's too late to do the right thing, or we feel like it's too late, right? So, based on your core values, set an intention for your mindfulness practice. Your intention should reflect your personal vision for growth. This intention may change or evolve throughout your practice. Remember to check on our guided intentions page. Oh, for help and support. Let's go to the guided intentions page. Let's see what help and support they suggest. Hey, Daisy, come here. Hold please, hold please. They're yelling at each other. Daisy! Get out here. Go down there then. Lord. They be fighting. This household is so much harder to handle when Grant is not here. Intentions are guiding principles on how you want to be throughout the day. Your intention should be closely tied to your personal values. Intentions are not material or tangible goals you can achieve, such as buying a car or getting a promotion. Rather, intentions are visions for how your self-growth can be actualized, such as being more self-kind or being more attentive with your family. Intentions give you direct and narrow focus, allowing for mindful personal growth. Okay, so with that being said, let's set some intentions based on personal values. What did I say? I said my relationship. That's a good one. I set an intention to have more mindful or like aware present. That's the word I'm looking for. Have more present times together. Whereas a lot of the times we'll sit down and we'll eat and we won't sit at the dinner table, or we'll be watching TV, or we'll be on our phones, and we have to remind ourselves, like, hey, be present in this moment together. We don't get a lot of moments like this where we get to sit down and have time throughout the day. So let's make dinner that moment where we're sitting there with no distractions, and that can be our moment together where we digest from the day. We talk about our days. We see how each other are doing. We check in, make plans, talk about the next date night we want to do. That's my intention for relationship. What else did I say? Trustworthiness, authenticity. That's something that I not only carry on in my personal life, but I carry through in my content that you see. I try really, really hard to not present as someone that isn't myself. And what that means is I leave in the mistakes. If I misspeak or say something, I don't edit that out. Even if it's super cringy to watch and I'm embarrassed of it, I embrace those moments and show people the real things on the pathway to get to where I am. We talk about the hard conversations. We talk about the difficult things that a lot of people steer away from because they're controversial, or they don't know how to handle them, or they don't want to bring up drama. So that's how I bring my authentic self to real life and online for all of you. The last one, what was my last one? Oh, self-improvement. I set the intention to always be humble in my not being perfect. Daisy, ma'am, hey, come here. Come here. Don't make me get up again. Oh, hold on again. No. Come here. Okay. You come here. Oh. Okay, one child sits here. One child out. Sorry, Daisy. Sometimes you just gotta separate them. You're in timeout. Continuous improvement is being self-aware and being humble in your self-awareness. You can't tote the fact that you've gone to therapy and hold that over someone else. You can't tote that you're better than someone else, because smarter is the wrong word. The more information you learn, the more you realize you really don't know anything, right? And whatever position you're in, whatever traumas you've overcome, whatever things you have escalated in your life, you realize that you can't judge anyone else for where they're at, because that's where you used to be at. Dozer. Yeah. That doesn't mean you have to accept them into your life and bring them in your inner circle, but you do have to not position yourself as like I'm better than them, right? That's I don't know how you would make that a personal value, but that's my personal value. I don't know how to drink from this. I did want to tell you a story of this piece of, it was like a chunk of a video that I saw. And I need to find the longer video, and I'll try to link it in the comment section when I do find it. But it was about when we assume that everything is about us, right? So if you have the victim mentality, essentially. So when you have a victim mentality, you assume that people are doing things directly to you, or like the universe did this specifically because it hates you right now. Someone didn't, something happens at work and someone didn't think about how this could affect you, so they're doing it to you on purpose. That comes from a deep-rooted self-hatred of ourselves, because we believe that we deserve those things, which is why we assume that other people are doing them to us, because we believe that we deserve it. And it was so interesting to see how, when I started my self-love journey and I started trying to unpack my victim mentality and mindset, how they both, like, my victim mentality depleted at the same rate that my self-love went up. And I see this a lot with Grant in my relationship, where I no longer think that he's not doing something, or he is doing something intentionally to me, whereas he still sometimes has that mindset of, oh, you left the scissors out on the table or chair, you didn't put the scissors away because you wanted to spite me, like because you knew that I wanted you to put them away and needed them, so you wanted to make it more difficult for me. You left, or you didn't clean up the space that I use in the morning because you weren't thinking of me. You wanted to make it more difficult for me. You're doing that intentionally because you're petty. And I had to stop him and say, that makes me a shitty person. It hurts me that you think I would do that to you and I don't love you. But in his mind, he deserved all of it. That made sense, because that's what his inner critic would do to himself. And that was such a helpful thing for him to share with me and understand, so that, me, girl with ADD who barely remembers where her keys get put every single day, letting him know, like, hey, look, no, I just didn't get to that. I got distracted. I forgot that existed. I'm not doing that intentionally to spite you. That's been a huge help in our relationship, to understand where his frustration and anger are coming from, and how I can mitigate it in the form of conversation and, getting ahead of the intrusive self-doubt and self-hatred, instead of letting that feed and fester and turn into resentment and it turning into a big blowout fight. We can kind of get ahead of that in our relationship and remind each other that, like, oh no, at the end of the day, we actually do love each other. Like, I would never do something specifically to spite you, because I actually genuinely love and care about you. And I think that's very unfamiliar for him. And that's something that he needs to become more comfortable with. All right. We are right off into our morning. This has been a fun little chat. I will see all of you on the replay. Thank you for leaving your wonderful comments and always participating.